Hello, folks, and hey, Bear. Welcome to the Nateland podcast. I'm Brian Bates, of course. As always, Dusty Slay.
All right.
And almost always, but returning after being gone last week, the wonderful Aaron Weber.
Oh, man. Talking about me like I'm a deadbeat. I missed 1 week, dude.
Yeah.
I'm back.
You're back.
Back and better than ever, baby. Let's do it.
Nate's out this week, but
thank God.
Yeah.
We have done, several 5-person podcasts, and now it's a 3-person. So we really slimmed it down.
We're still averaging 4.
Yeah.
We went, the last 3 weeks, we've gone 5, 4, 3. So next week.
3. It's just you and Dusty next one.
Yeah. You'll be gone again.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And
And then eventually Brian. The way you've always wanted.
Which is what he's been gunning for this whole time.
Yeah.
Just Brian alone at a huge desk.
2 hours.
Yeah. When he got working at cable news, this is what you wanted. You wanted to be the one guy at the desk.
It'd be more than 2 hours, though.
Would it?
Oh, yeah.
You would go longer with less people.
Yeah. I got a lot to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got some conspiracy theories out there blow your mind, Dusty.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear it.
Nate, Super Bowl commercial aired last night.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Right in the middle of a great game.
Well, they've thrown out every script out there possible except this one. The Eagles win in a blowout, right?
Yeah,
So,
was this an option, Dusty? We talked a
I think
little
it's the
bit
only
about
script
it.
that was left.
I don't, I sent you guys a thing that I saw on TikTok, and I thought, well, this is interesting, but I don't believe that the NFL is scripted. I believe they rig it through the referees.
Yeah.
Like wrestling.
But I feel like the only way a team can outmaneuver is the blowout. You have to come out and you have to beat the other team so bad that the referees can't rig it.
Yeah, that game, even if every call went in favor of the Chiefs, they still are not going to win.
And that's what I think. A lot of the Eagles players are Christians, and I think they were, they were praying and they were publicly praising the Lord. And I think he said, you know what, you're going to win the Super Bowl.
That's what God does, pick sides in football games.
Yeah. Take that, heathen
I
Chiefs.
think he picks sides in a lot of things.
Well, you retweeted Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I didn't retweet. I just commented.
Okay.
Okay.
He asked, why don't they ever mention God when they lose?
He
Right?
said blame God when
Oh.
they lose. And I was like, that's a weak take. But you should be thankful. Always be thankful, win or lose. So you don't blame. You don't place blame on God. Because if God wants you to lose, then it's best for you that you lost.
Did he say that after the game? He tweeted that?
I don't know. I just saw it today.
There's ever a movie that you like or something fun happened, and he'll find a way to just be a bummer about it.
Well, it's like 10, 15, 20 years ago, Neil deGrasse Tyson seemed like a cool, fun, smart guy, but he just puts himself out there so much now that it's like, all right, you really lost your credit. Him and Bill Nye. It's like you guys have lost all your credibility, and you're just out here, I don't know, clowning around now. Trying to you should be thankful to God for all things.
Were you ever into Bill Nye as a kid? Did you ever watch the show?
I don't think so, no.
We used to watch it a lot at school. Were you Bill Nye? I mean,
We're the same age. So, no, I did not watch him as a kid.
yeah, I'm sorry. Bill. We used to love it, dude. He taught us how, condensation worked. Important stuff like that. Stuff I'm using as an adult.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on this podcast, thankfully, we've never lost our credibility when it comes to science.
Yeah.
Well, but we never claimed to be scientists. You know what I mean?
That's the big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not Nate the Science Guy podcast.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Well,
I'm not
anyway.
a fan of either of these guys.
He's not a scientist either. Did you know he was a TV weatherman?
Bill Nye?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill
he has
Nye.
a degree in engineering.
Yeah.
Which I guess is science, but not the science he acts. He's not wearing a lab coat.
He does sometimes.
I know, but I'm saying he has no reason to wear a lab coat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Nate's commercial was great.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It was good.
Yeah, we had a little get-together at Top Golf. Dusty played golf for the first time.
Yeah.
You swung a golf
a
club.
few times.
Did you get the bug? Are you into it now? Are you going to
No.
devote your
Loving
life
it.
to
My
this?
wrist was hurting, and
One of the most natural swings I've ever seen.
Really?
I mean, it's like Tiger Woods.
a
out there.
lot of line drives out there. I mean, I was able to hit
Stingers.
the ball.
Yeah.
But no, I couldn't get any height on it.
Yeah, well, Yeah.
It's okay.
If you actually play golf, it's like you don't care about stuff like that. If you're hitting it straight and forward, that's really all you need.
I just feel like that'd be embarrassing if I went out to golf with people and then I'm hitting line drives.
Well, just say it's a stinger, and they go, "Oh, he knows something." I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, another stinger, boys.
This wind is whipping up.
Stinger
up here.
Saturday, fellas.
Keep it low.
You know, I think if it's like gambling, I think if I had hit it and it really got some air on it, I might have been like, "Ooh, this is fun."
Mhm.
But instead, you know, I lose every time, and I'm thankful to God that I lose.
Yeah.
So I'm not addicted to gambling.
So you're
now.
thankful you're not an immediate.
I don't blame God that I didn't win the lotto numbers. I'm thankful that I didn't.
Well, it was fun anyway.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun out there.
And now football season's over, and pitchers and catchers report
That's
this
right.
week.
Baseball's back, baby.
Got my Nashville Sounds head on. That's my
There
team.
you go. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you're a Braves fan too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You got to get into baseball now, Dustin. You got to.
I like baseball, but it's a lot of games, and
It's a lot. It's 162.
Yeah,
But
you know, we went to a couple of games, maybe one, and I liked it.
we went to an NFL game together that we both did not have a good time.
No, but the Milwaukee
The
Brewers,
Milwaukee Brewers
games,
game was great.
really great.
And you know who we saw at that game was Sonny Gray. Didn't even know him at the time.
mhm.
Friend of the podcast.
Okay.
He's done the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Sonny Gray, buddies with Nate.
Mhm.
But I didn't know it.
Was he on the team?
He was on the opposing team.
Okay.
He was on the Reds at the time.
Sonny Gray. That's a tough name.
It's
His parents were like, listen, the last name's kind of dreary. So let's just
We got to brighten it up a little
Yeah.
bit. Hey, he's really good though.
All right, this weekend, I think you two losers were at home, but I was out there on the road.
Okay.
Friday night, I was in Marion, Illinois, at the Little Nashville Cafe
I
with my
love
buddy
it.
Alex Valuto. Sold it out.
All
Oh,
right.
that's awesome.
It's a hot show. A lot of Nateland folks came out. Good time. Then Saturday, I was in Quinton, Virginia. That's just outside Richmond.
Yeah.
And
Is that where the FBI is?
no, that's
Quantico.
yeah, it's close.
Yeah.
And for Laugh All Night, show went from 7 to 8 p.m. and we had a great time.
Yeah, you're like, I'm only doing jokes for an hour, but you keep laughing.
Yeah.
A lot of Nateland folks came to that.
That's
Brought us
great.
some gifts, and
What about dry bar people? Do you ever get people that are like, oh, I just come in here from dry bar. I didn't even know you had a podcast.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Occasionally, somebody will know me from Dry Bar, but
You ever go to Utah? You ever do shows in Utah?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not when you're out there?
no, not really. I mean, more times than not, I don't know if you've experienced. Well, you didn't have done a Dry Bar though, so never mind. Excuse me.
Let alone two.
Yeah.
People will say afterwards, like, "Oh, now I know where I know you from your Dry Bar."
Well, a lot of people come up to me and Brian and go, I saw you on channel 4.5
Yeah,
for Stand Up Nashville.
All right.
Circle
on the
Network.
Circle Network. The now defunct Circle Network.
That's
It
too
is?
bad.
I think so.
Well, it's too bad. I was on there too.
Somebody
didn't know
told me.
that.
Somebody told me it was defunct.
I thought it was growing.
I thought they were doing great.
I mean, that started during the pandemic, I think. And
They should have utilized us for more stuff.
All right.
felt like it was out more places.
A cursory Google search shows there's no evidence that the network is defunct. So I want to retract that statement and apologize to all the beautiful people at the Opry Network.
They had Clint Black doing some kind of interview podcast style show.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I like Clint, but let's let one of us do it or interview one of us.
He was hosting it.
Yeah. Let's get some spice up in here, you know?
I saw Clint Black do stand-up comedy.
Did
here,
you?
Here at Zany's.
Oh, okay. I bet it wasn't good, huh?
It was a weird show.
I met Clint Black and I like him, but
This was probably
was it Clint Black or Mark Chestnut?
Clint Black.
It's Clint White.
Somebody told me Mark Chestnut's a big comedy fan.
About 15 years ago, when reality shows were just
Popping off.
popping off,
Yeah.
there was one where celebrities perform another genre of entertainment than what they do.
Okay.
Clint Black chose stand-up comedy. So on the show that night, I think TC co-posted it. Then he's like, we got a special guest set. Clint Black comes out, does his set that he's doing for the show. He gets off stage. Like, we got another special guest set. Jimmy Fallon comes out. This is when he was about to start doing late night. He was just trying to get his chops back.
Big celebrity at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean,
is Clint Black a big enough celebrity that they
in
cared
the
when
90s,
he came out?
For sure.
Really? Was it
Yeah.
was there a pop when he came out? Do you remember?
yeah, I mean, I'm sure maybe not everyone there knew who he was, but most people did. I
Okay.
think.
My mom used to call him a poor man's George Strait. And then later she was like, oh, no, I like Clint Black. And I'm like, well, you said that, though.
Yeah, it was pretty insulting when he
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah. I like Clint Black.
And then Jimmy Fallon kills, and then Brett Ernst was the headliner,
And Brett Ernst is great.
and he destroyed.
Yeah.
He didn't have a hard time at all.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing a different thing.
True, but I mean, Jimmy Fallon, people were so excited for Jimmy
Was
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon singing songs?
No,
Was he-
No, I
did
think
stand-up.
he was there unrelated. He was
Oh,
just
this
there.
was just a show of people doing
This was just a
stand-up.
hot show.
I thought Clint Black was doing stand-up. Jimmy Fallon was doing music.
no, I'm sorry. Clint Black was on a reality show where he was doing it, but he was at Zany's just practicing.
So he
his
just
set.
popped in.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
He popped in.
guest
and did a-
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did a
yeah.
guest spot, and then Jimmy Fallon popped in and did a guest spot, and then Brett Ernst just headlined the show.
I don't think Jimmy Fallon's known for his stand-up comedy, though, right? I mean,
But he was doing it.
very funny,
Yeah.
and everybody likes him, but I don't think he's known for his stand-up comedy, right?
No,
Certainly
definitely not
not now.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but he does
'Cause
impressions.
He does a lot of songs, and he would have crushed it. He should have came out and did a Clint Black song.
Yeah, he should have. Well, next time when you guys are on there, you can let him know.
Yeah, nothing but the tail lights.
When we are trying to make progress, life's curveballs often feel like taking one step forward and two steps back. I hate a curveball. I was never able to hit a curveball. That's when my baseball career ended.
Trouble with the curve.
Trouble with the curve, dude. Think
Yeah,
of
I
all
rented that movie, and I thought it was a
about my life.
flat Earth documentary.
It's not.
Let's not talk about flat Earth in the middle of an ad read, but
sorry.
think about all the extra fees that you have to pay in life day to day. It gets so annoying so fast. Airline fees, concert tickets are insane. You name it. There's always extra fees attached. Not with Chime. Not with Chime. A Chime checking account makes financial progress easier with features like no maintenance fees and getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Join millions of Chime members who are working on financial progress. Chime helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance. Get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals, and of course, no monthly fees or maintenance fees, plus over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. We've all been there. We've overdrafted and then punished. Not with Chime. Now you don't have to worry. I wish I had this when I was in college. Could have paid my tuition with my overdraft fees. That was written in there. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good joke, actually. Make progress towards a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes. You don't have 2 minutes? At chime.com/Nate. That's chime.com/Nate. Chime. Feels like progress.
Chime in on those fees.
Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
So were you guys both home this weekend?
I will talk more about the last because I see some comments. We'll get into the last weekend when I was gone, but I was with Kathleen Madigan this weekend, Durham, North Carolina, at the Carolina Theater. 2 hot shows.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very fun. Gosh, she just has so much new stuff, and it's already.
Yeah, she's
She
great.
just turns it over so
Yeah.
quickly. She's pretty amazing. But I'll say this: I've flown 6 times since I've seen y'all last. I am 6 for 6 on nobody next to me on the plane.
All right.
6 for 6.
Wow.
Pretty unbelievable
What do you think
streak
that
I'm on
is?
right now.
I was
I think
2 for-
it's a lot of things.
I was 2 for 2 this weekend.
That's a good feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's because we've had, a lot of plane crashes and people are like, I don't think I'm going to fly.
The planes were considerably more empty than
Yeah.
they usually have
Yeah.
been, but even the full flight.
I say let's have a couple more and get some space on these planes. I hope everybody's safe,
Of course.
but let's let them go.
But
I hope a
say,
few empty planes crash.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to scare some people
Yeah.
off. But I had a
You
quote.
think that was a plane in Philly, though? It looks like a missile. Have you seen the videos?
I have seen the video. I haven't dug into it yet, but I'm sure we'll talk off air about it. But I had quote unquote completely full flight with an empty middle seat next to me.
Wow.
Exit row, middle seat.
People doubled up to not sit next to you. Somebody took a
goes,
lap.
I'll sit in a lap.
It's worth it.
And the flight attendants were like, I'll allow it. We've seen the guy. I'll allow it.
I get it.
In this case, yeah.
I'll get you the seatbelt extender.
The pilot's like, you can sit up here with me.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't sit in the exit row with a seatbelt extender. Do you know that?
I didn't know that. I'm for that though.
I am for it too. Though I don't. It's like it's not about the seatbelt extender.
It's embarrassing if you get moved though.
I've seen it
Mind
happen.
sitting in the exit row, the guy back there can't get the belt. He said he can help.
Yeah.
But we're concerned he
But
might not be able to.
He ain't gonna be able to help.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Because the seatbelt extender itself doesn't. You're not losing time in an emergency with that. You just clip it off like a normal seatbelt.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's if you need one.
They won't have time to get the Vaseline in between the armrests to get you out of there. Jeez.
Vaseline.
Dusty is brutal today.
Sorry.
Anyway, 6 for 6. I was proud.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about everything else in a while. But where were you, Dusty?
I was at home.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, because I've all right. I flew Southwest this weekend.
Okay.
Pretty empty plane going and coming.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? How far off, the order A 1 through 30, 60, B, C, that you would have to be out of line before when you get up there, that they'll stop you?
If it's not a full flight, you probably have a 5 or 6 before they say something. So you can be, I'm guessing you could be 31 and you go at 25 or whatever, and they're not going to say much. More than that, they go, hey, you got it.
Oh, really?
What do you think? That's my thinking. Full flight, I think they're going to be a little more serious about it and strict about it.
Yeah.
But everybody's going to be able to spread out. It's like, who really cares?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, you're probably right.
I think you got to be a letter off.
I mean, that's all I've seen is, sir, this is A group and you're B. But
Yeah.
I just wonder if if you're A22 and A47 sneaks up there, are they going to, sir, you got to go back?
I've started to be more assertive about it. I told a woman, she was like A21 and she was hanging out at A16 and you got it.
I was thought about Southwest, but you're doing it yourself.
Oh yeah. I go up and I go, look, you got to, this is where the game is played in these few spots right here. Cause I want the exit row aisle seat and you can't, that's why I'm here. A16.
I was there one time. I had A1 and another guy was like, oh, I got A1 too. And he showed me the ticket. And I was like, I don't think so. But I just was like, I don't know how to argue with this guy about it. And then we get up there and they go, that's the wrong ticket.
To you or him?
Him. He had the wrong ticket.
Okay.
He had like a ticket for a later flight.
Oh, and then didn't he just switch over?
I think they let him go ahead.
Wow. I mean, that's a pretty ingenious move.
Oh, yeah.
Just to go, oh, my bad. And you're actually C34 or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Well, it's cheating.
Yeah, of course it is. But it's pretty smart. I would never have thought to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not as big of a scumbag to think to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You guys want to get in these comments?
Let's do it.
You going to do them, Aaron?
Oh, I'll do it. Comments come from, as always, Twitter or X.
Yeah.
Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcast Reviews, and Nateland at natebargatze.com. Or if you see Brian on the street, put him in a headlock and let him know.
Or bring a gift to me at a show with a comment inside.
Have people done that?
I don't know, but I figure
You'd
I'll
like
put it
it.
out there.
People bring me gifts and they'll say, oh, I've commented 2 or 3 times. You guys haven't read it yet. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like, well, probably because your comments are like this. You could have came at me with a witty kind of thing today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really go at them.
Yeah, you got to step it up a bit. We get a lot of comments, First comment comes from Joe Gatto. I believe we accomplished a hot episode. Thanks so much for having me. Wow, I was so jealous Joe was on the podcast and I was gone. I'm a giant Impractical Jokers fan, dude.
It was a fun episode.
And Joe Gatto, you ever seen him on that show? That guy's a menace. Dude.
Yeah. It was a fun show.
He's wild.
Dusty proclaimed the show hot 5 minutes in.
Okay.
And Dusty's like, and I mean, Joe's basically saying we lived up to Dusty's.
Yeah.
He spoke it into existence.
Yeah, it was a hot show. He's very funny, very nice guy. I'd never met him. Very funny, very nice.
I opened for him once. Really struggled with his audience.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But he was great. Next comment from Mrs. Carlin. We got Joe Gatto, George Carlin. It's crazy.
Mhm.
I would say I missed Aaron on this. Mrs. Carlin.
His wife.
His daughter.
Okay.
I would say I missed Aaron on this episode, but I am seeing him everywhere these days. Aaron, congrats on the special. It was hilarious. Great episode, y'all. Thank you, Mrs. Carlin.
All right. That's very
Special
nice.
has been doing well. If you haven't watched it yet, Signature Dish. It's on the Nateland YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, just flip back a few videos. Signature Dish, 30 minutes. It's a hot 30 minutes.
It is
I think.
great.
It is a hot 30 minutes. You know, I shared it and then it really bumped up.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
got the dusty bump.
Yeah. Very funny.
I was
Yeah.
pumped with it.
And a great Tonight Show.
Thanks, dude. I think we got a comment about that
Yep.
coming
Yeah,
right
so-
up. We'll get into it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Jared Bartlett. How about that? Joe Gatto, Mrs. Carlin, and President Bartlett
Oh,
from the West Wing. Jared Bartlett. As someone who has never seen Aaron's comedy and only seen him on the pod, I was worried. But Signature Dish was awesome. Very excited to see his full hour special one day when Nateland is its own streaming service. Keep it up. Hope to one day see the whole band. Right now, I've only seen the B.
Boom.
So the bar is low.
Well, that's what I try to. We're all professional comedians here. It's like, some people act like we're Nate's sidekicks out here. We're all professional comedians.
We're all
And he's
doing
like,
our own stuff.
Oh, I was worried that Aaron wouldn't be funny. It's like, Aaron's great.
But I love that people are coming in blind and
Yeah.
just going, let's just give it a shot. So that's good. And Nate did produce the special. So thank
And
you so
who's
much,
to
Jared.
say that you might not get, maybe you get an hour on Netflix,
That's true. But he's also, Jared's wishing that continued success for Nateland,
Right,
too.
right.
So
That's when it
maybe,
gets so
Well,
big.
maybe
you don't wanna go-
Nateland will be the next Netflix
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
soon.
Well, that would be nice. But I just, want Jared to give you your own credit here. And,
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, I want to call this guy out.
It's
And
a
the
really
worried,
nice
he's
comment.
probably taking a shot at me on that.
He was. His way underlined worried.
Okay.
Right there. Gabe Allen, congratulations on the Tonight Show, Aaron. Though I'm sorry to say our distance from the sun does not affect the seasons. It is the tilt of the earth on its axis.
That's what I was saying. Gabe.
Yeah, that was Dusty's main point for
Yeah.
sure. I've been corrected on this, and I got, it makes perfect sense.
It is what I was saying.
It's something I have not thought about ever. And then once somebody says it, you go, oh, that does make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Though I will make a bold claim that I think you're going to be a little bit hotter if you're 3 million miles closer to the sun.
I'm going to say this,
I
though.
don't have a lot of science to back that up, but if you're 3 million miles closer to something incredibly hot, I think you're going to be a little warmer.
Well,
That's my thoughts.
Everyone came after you on this, but I didn't speak up, and because I'd forget. This is
Well, because it's not worth it, because that's not how any of it works anyway. But
Now, here's what I think.
Well,
it
I was
is.
just going to say I learned this in school. It's an example of something I just forget.
Yeah,
over time.
because you're not thinking about the tilt of the Earth on its axis.
Yeah.
every
and over
day.
time, your mind
It was tilted different. when I
purges
was in school.
itself of false information, and you're like, you forget it because you go, that doesn't make sense.
I think my problem is, we're all wrong about stuff on this podcast, right?
Well, you
But
guys-
when I'm wrong about stuff, I really dig in and say it like I'm right,
oh, I know.
and I'm really act confident when I'm really
Yeah.
not.
Mhm.
Which I think I'm trying to do good radio here. That's part of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you
I've
never
also
back
got
down. Tom Petty said
severe character flaws. So, maybe just take that into account. You know what I'm saying?
So we all have them.
No, just me.
Oh yeah.
You guys
I
are
read some
perfect.
comments
That's
one
good.
day, and a lady was like, my husband knows a lot about space, and he heard me listening to the podcast, and he goes, "What's that?" And she goes, "Don't even listen. It's going to make you dumber." And I just, it's a funny comment. Much love to her and her husband.
Yeah, I love that.
I just love when people go, "My husband knows a lot about space," and I'm like, "Well, you read a lot of stuff. You did read a lot of stuff."
He hasn't been.
Probably not. Yeah. I mean, I guarantee it.
All right. So Tonight Show, awesome,
Thank you, man.
great job.
It's very fun.
You've done a lot of big things, Bridgestone Arena, Opry, other TV stuff. How does this rank as far as nervousness?
Nervousness, they did such a good job preparing you for the set
Yeah.
that by the time I did it, I knew what I had to do, and you don't really have time to, you're kind of just like, oh, this is happening. So they just like walk you out. So I did exactly what Dusty recommended, which is I have the picture here. Here's me running my set to an empty room.
Yes.
An empty Tonight Show set. There's three, I mean, you see a couple people there sitting, and they were very generous laughers. They were giving me some pity laughs as I ran my set. But
I'm going to tell you, that's new. The first time I did it,
you bombed?
which was my best set, I would say, of my Tonight Show, the first one. Nobody laughed when I did it out there.
Yeah.
This time I did it, and they were laughing in the audience, and it threw me almost. I was like, whoa, I was not expecting this.
Maybe you bombed so bad that first sound check, they made it a policy afterwards.
Yeah,
guys, we can't crash their confidence.
Put in the
like
laugh
that.
track.
Yeah.
So Michael Cox of the Tonight Show, he was so great about like every variable that you can think of. You know, you walk out, you point at Jimmy Fallon, then they tell you to point at the band. So we like practice doing that to the point where I thought it was overkill. But then by the time I did the real set, I was like, oh, I'm glad we did all that. One funny thing I'll tell y'all is he told me it's about a 50-50 chance the crowd is going to stand when you walk out. And it's nothing to do with you. It's just sometimes if it's the right combination of people in the audience, they will just, for whatever reason, stand when every guest is brought out. So he said, if that's the case, you have to tell them to sit down before you start your first joke, or else the first joke is just lost, right? So I would never even thought to do that. And if you watch the video, I'm sure I walk out there, I go, all right, sit down. So I told Stephen Bargatze that last night.
Yeah.
I told him that story. And he goes, thank God. I thought you were such a hack. I thought you were doing please sit down. Like I got a fake standing ovation.
That's what I thought too.
No, they were standing up. I mean, they looked like they knew who I was, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They stood up for Adrian Brody. They stood up for Adina Menzel and then me. So it's just I would never have thought it would come across that way.
I didn't think that, but because the last time I was there, they stood for me too.
But you didn't say it.
No, but I always take a little bit of time to get going.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Yeah. So it's not they'll be set down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I let them know. Come on.
And you also got an energy that you can say sit down and it doesn't come across. If I come out and go sit down,
they go,
sit down.
That guy's gonna need Vaseline.
Can you even get in your chair?
You start calling the audience fat.
I would never do that.
Start heckling them as soon as you walk out.
I don't know why I'm even making these jokes with you. It just seems fun to do.
Yeah.
It is fun, but it was a very cool experience. It felt like, I don't know. There's me and Jimmy Fallon talking before the show. He comes around. You have like 30 seconds to talk to him in your dressing room.
That's a weird conversation because other people are watching you talk to Jimmy Fallon.
Well, there's a whole camera crew. I mean, look, there's a photographer took this picture.
Yeah.
So there's a whole crew behind him. And they were like, just kind of pick one thing you talk to him. You can say Nate or talk to him about Zanies. And I was like, I think we're all a little sick of talking about Nate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That guy's enough press.
Yeah.
So we talked about Zanies for a minute. He told a funny Zanies story.
About Clint Black?
No, not the Clint Black story, but about something else. But Lucy was there too. So I said, this is my wife. She works at Zanies. And then that got him into the Zanies story. But just very nice guy. After the set, I went over and sat on the couch with him, and it looks like we're chopping it up right here. But this is a snap. I was there for like 5 seconds, and I think I'm saying everybody here has been so great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But it looks like I'm going. Here's how comedy works, Jimmy Fallon. But he watched my set. He had really nice things to say. He went through like every joke. During the commercial break, he was like, that joke did. He's like, that loan. So it was just really cool, man. And
awesome.
A good experience, cool thing to do. Felt like the biggest thing I've done, like people hitting me up, like from high school and stuff. I've had stuff that probably means more to my career, like objectively, like JFL, something like that, or like getting an agent. But this is something people understand.
Yeah, they all recognize it. I mean, the first time that I did it, it was like huge for text messages and people reaching out and people I haven't talked to in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like nobody almost. My mom didn't even know I was on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that may be on you, Dusty.
Well,
I don't think your mom is required to check the
she
TV
should
listings.
keep up with what I got going on.
Yeah, I text you. Congrats. Great job. Never heard from you, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was getting blown up. But, and I knew I'd see you.
Yeah.
No, I texted you during the podcast. Remember? I texted
Yeah,
you.
but I hadn't seen it yet. I texted you once I watched it.
Oh, I mean, I texted you right after I got off stage, basically.
One of the first people he texted.
I was thinking about you my whole set, Brian.
I could kind of tell. I could kind of tell. Sit down.
Uh-huh. And I want to thank Christy Johnson at Purpose Boutique for sending me those clothes, sending me those shoes.
Yeah, you look good.
It was a sharp look.
I was really pulling up old photos of you the other day. I mean, you've completely transformed.
Yeah, some of those old pictures are tough to look at, dude. But it was awesome. Thank you to everybody. I got a lot of nice messages from people and stuff, so it was really cool.
And the Comedy Cellar was great?
The Comedy Cellar I was more nervous about that, honestly, that set. Because the Comedy Cellar is that iconic, legendary club in New York, and I've never gone up there. And then when you do this night show, they kind of parade you around and let you hop up on all the shows. And I got to do them.
Yeah,
so
that's
it was really cool.
I like that too.
It was really cool.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was awesome. Thank you, everybody. All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Great question, Gabe.
Yeah. Thank you, Gabe. Robert J. We're back to the comments.
Gabe didn't even have a question, Dusty, but go ahead.
Yeah, Gabe was actually just correcting my science.
Yeah.
Robert J., you guys are so clueless. It's hilarious. All right, let's move on. Brett B. You guys are so clueless. It's hilarious. Breakfast said gravity is because of magnetism in the earth. No, it's because of mass.
All right.
Yeah.
Last week, Nate, for the third straight week, did his whole ball in the water thing, which I don't really even understand what he's saying.
I don't really know what he's saying either.
But I was just trying to say, and I even said right after I said it, magnetism is probably not the right word, but it has.
But you're so clueless. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. I'm doing it for Robert.
So clueless. It's hilarious.
This is my
Dr.
comedy.
Robert J. writing in.
I was just trying
Bob J.
I was trying to make Nate understand gravity is not a gas that leaks in. It's a force. And I said magnetism, which is not the right word, but it made it worse when he said, "Oh, so it's like two magnets that push off." And I'm like, "Oh boy,
it doesn't exist. It doesn't matter."
All right.
Well, it's holding the universe together, but it's tough to explain gravity to a guy when there's a picture of him dressed as George Washington right behind him. You know what I mean? Brett,
the reality is no one can explain it.
Plenty of people can't explain it. Not four idiots on a comedy
No
podcast.
one can.
I've heard it explained. Scientists have explained
it. It appealed to you.
They've detected gravitational waves. I've seen it.
They detected them.
There's nothing they can.
Yeah, they detected them.
There's nothing they could say that could convince you. I'll agree with that.
They can't. There's no. I mean, you can go to great lengths to make explanations and be like, but you can't. No one can explain.
Tell you what, if you drop a bottle of water and it goes up in the sky, give me a call. Let me know.
Well, if the bottle of water is lighter than the air around it, then it will rise.
Why?
Because it's lighter than the air around it.
But why would that mean it would go up?
Well, because the air around it would be heavier.
But why would the heavy thing go down?
Well, that's just the way it works. The heavy thing.
It's just the way.
Well,
Dusty, you just proved gravity.
No.
You go, gravity's not real, but sometimes.
What about
a bigger thing will make a smaller thing.
So it's all about weight. So like
it's not about weight. It's about mass.
But a balloon or a butterfly.
What about a balloon or a butterfly?
Well, they have surface area and
if a butterfly stops flapping its wings, it falls to the ground.
So its wings are so strong that it defies gravity.
No, that's not how defying gravity works. I mean, it's air. There's air resistance,
but it holds me to the earth.
Flight is amazing. I'm not saying that. I'm not acting like it's super.
But like a balloon, it's that the helium is lighter than the air around it, so it floats.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I thought I saw a UFO on a plane the other day.
Did you really?
It
I
was
mean,
just-
there's no
it
need
was
to
a balloon zipping by.
mean,
Well, no need to
I'm
what?
just saying, no one can explain it. That's the point.
I think people can't explain it.
I didn't really
people have
understand it
explained
until you explained it. And now
Well,
I'm like,
but a helium in a balloon, it just floats right away. I mean, and nothing's pulling it down. But if you put, just oxygen in a balloon, it falls. The balloon itself weighs the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the helium makes it lighter, so it floats.
right.
Yeah.
Every week, so many people write in trying to explain it to us. And I would just encourage this.
Well,
Don't.
listen,
Because we're not going to read it.
If you go, you guys are so clueless, it's hilarious, and they're going to lump us all in.
Yeah, it should just be
Then-
me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Robert J is pulling you guys into this, but
Uh,
yet you guys still want to be on Robert J's side.
Robert J and I.
You
are
guys
not
want to
on-
convince
we're not on
Robert
the
J.
same
You're
team.
like, Robert J, we're buddies. Let us be buddies
Yeah.
with you. I want Robert J to know. I don't care.
He's the only one who's called me hilarious on this podcast.
Well, we're
so-
going to jump into the next comment. Brett Bacon, great name. What does Dusty think about the announcement that NASA is doing a Twitch live stream from the International Space Station this Wednesday?
I can't wait. I mean, I think that's going to be something.
Someone sent us a video today of one of the astronauts with a baseball glove and a
Mhm.
baseball, and he would throw the ball, not hard, but
Mm-hmm.
get it going, and then he would zip past it and catch it himself.
Oh, that's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think he's doing that?
I don't know, but he's not floating in the air, though.
CGI.
I mean, there's a lot of things, but yeah, I mean, there's so much they can do with video by the time it gets to us. I mean, it's truly amazing what they can do with video now.
Mhm.
I mean, the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney is really amazing. It's an amazing
That's a real
movie.
thing?
It's a real movie, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I'm saying. They make it look so real.
Yeah.
The next comment comes from Jordan
I mean, come on, guys.
Gibbs. Jordan Gibbs.
Oh,
Now that Dusty is into...
Did you skip that one on purpose?
Oh, I did not mean to skip that one. I'm sorry. Corey Crowley. Brett Bacon and Corey Crowley.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of these people are real, but I like the names. Corey Crowley. I'm curious if the guys have any funny stories about open micers when they were around them earlier in their career.
I'm still around them.
I was going to say, I mean, I might be going to open mic this week.
Well, I don't understand this question about just open micers in general, or is he saying somebody you knew as an open micer that's now gone on to do big things?
I think he may have tried an open mic and some crazy people there doing some crazy
Some
things.
crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah. Open mic is an insane place. I brought my
is.
brother-in-law one time, who's a pretty religious guy, and he went to an open mic in East Nashville with me, Cult Fiction Underground.
Mhm.
He was just in town doing some work, and he thought, I'll go to the open mic with you. And, religious, but also, he's been around a little bit.
Mhm. He's heard it all before.
And he left that open mic like distraught a little bit.
About what?
Just the content, the
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
people said,
Yeah.
the things that come out of people's mouths at an open mic. It is so wild.
Yeah. But you got to let people try.
Yeah.
You got to let people try.
It's a fun place to be, an
Yeah.
open mic.
And I think if the joke bombs, then that's all the punishment.
But he was
it needs.
disturbed not by the bad comedy, but what they were actually saying.
Oh, yeah.
Their lives.
But if the comedy would have been better, he would have been less distraught.
That's true.
That is very true.
Yeah.
I mean, just a lot. That was a very small room. I love that room. That's one of my favorite rooms. It's gone now, but you remember it.
Oh yeah, you did a special there.
Yeah. Well, making that Fudge album I recorded there, but it was so great. But
Mhm.
it would get wild in there because you're just in a little box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, you couldn't escape it.
Yeah. I mean, I still got to open mics when I can. And we've gone to, look, three of us have gone to thousands of them. So it's, we got a lot of stories. I met Dusty at an open mic at the Bobby's Idle Hour. I probably met you at an open mic.
Yeah.
I can't remember where specifically,
Yeah.
but
I met Brian at Zany's.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Big
Keith
time.
Halberstadt show.
That's right.
big time. All right.
And
Yeah.
I'd already heard about you
Yeah.
from my friend Lori Hinkle.
Oh yeah. Went to high school with Lori Hinkle. She went to a different school, but same town.
You know how I've had this numerous times. People say, "Oh, you do comedy?" I got a buddy who's trying,
Uh-huh.
and it's never anyone that you've either heard of or they're ever going to be good. She's like, I got a friend from school. His name's Dusty Slay. I'm like,
Dusty
I
Slay.
can already tell by that name. He's not funny.
You go, dude. You can't have a stage name, buddy. That sounds crazy.
That's hack.
And then you see him and you go, oh, that's your real name for sure.
Yeah. It was fun. Yeah. Me, you, Chad Ryden on the Keith Alberstadt show.
Yep. I remember that.
It was a hot show.
Mm-hmm. This episode of Nateland is sponsored by BetterHelp. What are some of your relationship green flags? We often hear about the red flags we should avoid, but what if we focus more on looking for green flags in friends and partners?
A green flag would be if they use BetterHelp.
That's a great point, Aaron. If you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify green flags, actively practice them in your relationship, and embody this green flag energy yourself. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back. As we all know, Nate is in therapy, but don't let that stop you. There are true benefits to therapy, and BetterHelp can do it. It's helpful for everyone to learn positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It even empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It's not just for people who have experienced major trauma in life. It's helpful for everyone in every stage of life. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties, and easily switch therapists anytime and no extra cost. You don't like your therapist, Dusty? Just switch it out.
Okay.
Keep trying. Discover your
no conversation with them about it.
No questions asked.
That's why BetterHelp. Yeah. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Nate to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Nate.
Jordan Gibbs, next comment. Now that Dusty is into classical music, can we please get a Dusty Slay's top 5 classical music songs segment? By the way, I totally recommend listening to Finnish composer Jean Sibelius. It's outstanding.
I will look this up. The thing about classical music is, like, country music, I've been listening to it my whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I know so many songs.
Right.
And plus, and they're all narrowed down to a name and an artist. It's like there's so many classical music artists, and the songs are always like, Sonata 86 in
Concerto number 4, whatever, and you're like,
a minor D flat, and it's like it's hard to even remember what song you listened to before,
but you recognize them when you hear them.
Yeah,
you should do Dusty Slay's top 5 classic drinking songs.
Classical drinking songs.
Classical drinking
songs, classical music to drink to.
No, about drinking.
Oh, country music songs.
Classical. That's.
I don't know that there's no words though, so it's hard for that to be.
That was the joke.
All right, I'll go back to the open mic.
Okay.
It's trying to be funny.
Am I the only one missing? I mean, it seems like everybody.
The joke was that. Yeah.
I mean, Robert J is the only one who thinks I'm hilarious. So.
I know. He probably took that back just now. He's like, maybe it is magnetism. I don't know. Amadeus. You ever see the movie Amadeus?
No, but I am familiar.
Unbelievable movie, and the soundtrack. I mean, it's about Mozart. Somebody pointed out I say his name wrong, but Requiem. He wrote the soundtrack for his own funeral when he was alive, and it's unbelievable. So that's a fun listen. If you go listen, Mozart.
I was recommended that album.
Mozart's Requiem. Yeah. It's awesome.
Someone said I say it Mozart.
Like, that's how I just said it now, and I had to correct myself. It's Mozart.
But you're putting a T.
Yeah, you kind of put a little.
But before that T, you were say it with the way you.
I was saying in Mozart.
Yeah, but you're still saying Mozart. They're saying I was saying Mozart.
Mozart.
Yeah.
Mozart.
Yeah. All right.
Amadeus. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. What a name.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Berry. What has doing shows at college campuses been like for you all? I've only done a handful, so I'm going to defer to these other two guys.
Well, I've only done a handful too, but they've all been great. I love them. I have a good time.
Those University of Kentucky shows were great.
Well, The gigs that I've actually been booked on, like by my agent, to
Yeah.
go perform at a college have all been really good. The old Tom Sobel gigs at the University of Kentucky are some of the worst gigs. They are really bad.
Yeah.
But I think it's different. I think he got some kind of contract to just do weekly shows at the University of Kentucky. So nobody cared about that.
Right.
But when you, I feel like when you actually get booked by a college to go, I feel like it's a bit of a special event. Still a ton of people don't come. I was with Fortune Feimster, actually, opening for her. I did a run of theaters with her. And these were sold out theaters, like people paying lots of money to come see her. But we started the run by doing a college in New Orleans. What is that college?
There's a few. Tulane,
yeah. And free show.
Yeah.
Barely anyone shows up. And it's like she's selling out theaters, but then this free show at a college, barely anyone shows up. And
I think about that, but I didn't go to a single thing in college. I didn't even know that stuff was happening.
Yeah, and I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of comics I know now did shows while I was there on campus that I never knew about it.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff gets lost in the fray.
But it's I've really only had good experiences with colleges. Even during COVID, I did some Zoom college shows that were fun.
I think what you've probably heard is famous comedians talking about you can't say anything on college campuses anymore. The environment's too PC, all that, which maybe it is, but I don't think any of us up here are that kind of comic. So we can just do our act and everything's fine.
And I don't talk about gravity when I'm doing comedy.
Right. He saves that for the meet and greet.
Yeah, I do that
after the show.
Yeah, it's more of a fun conversational thing.
I've only done colleges a couple of times. At my age, they don't want to see me. I'm their parents' age.
Did you do well? You know what I said? I said to some college, I said, "Listen, I don't know if you guys are going to find this funny, but I just want you to know your dads think it's hilarious."
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's a good line. I'm too old for him. I mean,
I say I do comedy for a lot of old people. That's what I say.
I mean, I was like, if I could do a college now, I was a freshman in high school when these kids were born.
Yeah, when I was just 2 or 3 years in, it's when Angela Johnson was blowing up with Bunquequi and all that, and MTSU did a back to school free show, like you're saying, at the Murphy Center there where they play basketball, and I opened for her. And up until Bridgestone Arena, that was the biggest crowd I'd ever done. It was like 5,000 people.
Yeah, it's a big crowd. How'd it go?
Not great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so chaotic.
Yeah.
People just,
yeah,
it's really hard.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Next comment comes from Ben Blykamp.
Jeez, that's too many L's.
Yeah. It's like you want to
need a vowel in the middle there.
You want to llama it. You know what I mean?
Blykamp.
Like Blykamp. Yeah, but
Blykamp.
there's 2 L's.
Yeah.
So Ben B. It seemed that Aaron had a lot more energy on stage than in his older clips from years ago. Is this something he actively worked on, or does it come with experience and confidence? Do you get feedback from other comics? I remember Bill Burr mentioned on a podcast he consciously tried to include more physical acting or comedy in one of his specials. I was on drugs. Thank you, Ben.
All right.
No, I don't know. I guess... No, we've all I didn't go in and go, I've made a conscious decision to have more energy. There are small things that I think about and have tried to fix, but I think in general, you just kind of evolve and I don't know, maybe I am more energetic than I was years ago. I don't know. It's not something I set out to do.
I think it's happened to me too. Even not as extreme, but you probably were never as low energy as I used to be.
Even your first album is so different than you are
now. But the comedy I do now, I'm much more energetic. And I don't know if it's confidence, but you just do it so many times that you just feel like, all right, I feel more natural out here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm really performing as much as I am. I'm natural out here now.
We've all done, Nate, he was still low energy, but when he first started, he was even more low energy. Same for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, I wanted to have a Stephen Wright type of vibe.
Me too. Mitch Hedberg was who I was going for, but yes.
I wasn't trying to do those type of jokes.
Yeah.
But that energy is what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then over time, I just gradually
like the mysterious kind of downtrodden, but I'm just trying to, I mean, you should do a set like that one of these nights, just like
there's.
big jacket on, kind of looking down at the ground.
I mean, that was my first 5 years in comedy.
Was it really?
As far as looking down with no confidence.
I like to think I was doing a combination of Mitch Hedberg and Ron White. That's what I like to think when I started comedy.
Yeah.
Like I was like always drinking on stage,
Yeah.
but doing slow jokes like Mitch Hedberg. I wanted to do kind of one-liner jokes. That's what I thought I was doing. That's who I thought I was. And I think I did I think I was pulling it off. But
With the overalls?
Yeah.
no, this was after the
Okay.
overalls.
You were
was
wearing
a-
shoes at
the
this point.
overalls was a forgotten period in comedy for me,
Okay.
and it was a
Yeah.
real learning curve for me.
Okay.
I had a lot of learning curves in life.
Next comment comes from Divilidiotti.
A classical music composer.
Divilidiotti, Concerto
Yeah.
number 2.
Yeah.
You guys always talk about how good a club is when you talk about your weekends. What makes a club good for a comedian? Also, do you think a clean club that doesn't serve alcohol could work? I'm gonna to answer your second question. No.
Yeah, there was one for a while. Gutties.
I think it could work, but it's really hard. And this is why it's really hard, because you're not going to find that many clean comics because once the clean comics get very good, then they want to make money. And so if you're not serving alcohol, then you're giving all the ticket sales to the comic. So you're not making any money. You need the alcohol to make to fund the club. You need alcohol and food to fund the club. That's why I think, I don't know if we're allowed to just mention them by name, but that's what I think happened to Gutties. I mean, they wanted to be like, we can do this without selling alcohol, but you can't pay people enough. Like, it's like, if I can go make more money at a different club, then I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And, they couldn't afford it because, you need the alcohol sales.
It's tough. I mean, we've also seen plenty of regular clubs close in our time too. So I think it's just a hard business in general to keep going. The breakdown's different for every club, I think, but what people need to understand is they're essentially bars and restaurants that allow us to do stand-up at it. So that's how they're making their money. That's how they're keeping the lights on. That's how they're paying the staff. So once you remove that from it, I mean, even these clubs that we know of them that don't serve food, it's like, I don't know how if it's just alcohol.
And the first
crazy.
question here, I think what makes a good club is
if you sell tickets.
That
That's
does
a big
make
part
a
of it.
difference.
Yeah.
But I think does the club care about the comics?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, because you can go there. I've been to some clubs where I wasn't selling tickets, and there's definitely some that I think are bad, and there's others that I think are good. When you're selling out, they're all good. But it's like, I remember I was doing a club one time early on. I definitely was not selling out, and the microphone was not loud. I could tell by the first comic that it wasn't loud. So I went to the club owner and I go, hey, do you mind, turning the mic up? Because it's barely on. Mm-hmm. She goes, I'll get to it. And then as the show goes on, I see that it's like, she's not doing it. And we're about to get to me going on stage. And at that time, I was definitely reliant on the microphone. Right?
Yeah. It's fair to be relying on a microphone as a comic.
We all are, but it's like at that time, I especially was.
Right.
And I go back to her and I go, hey, I'm about to go up and the mic's still not turned up. And she's like, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, okay. Yeah. I don't care how long you've been doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tell you how to run the club.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking you, will you turn the microphone up? So we just went to the soundboard and figured it out, and we turned it up.
While the comic's on stage?
Yeah.
Start messing with the levels?
Yeah, we just turned it up.
Uh-huh.
There's another guy at a club. He yelled at me in the middle of the showroom because he had like 10 comics on stage before me. And I just went to him and I go, hey, do you mind, us not doing so many comics before I get up on stage? He goes, yelling at me, you're not going to tell me how to run my club. And I'm like, I just want the show to be good.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
You're paying me to come here. I just want the show to be good.
Yeah, I've talked about this with y'all, but sometimes there's like a philosophical misunderstanding at a club where you show up and they act like it's their show that they're letting you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then good clubs, you show up and they go, oh, this is your show. How would you like it to be run?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main difference. So that example you
Right.
just talked about, that's like, that's their show that they're letting you do.
Yeah.
So they're like, why would this guy ask about how many comics are on it? Like,
Right.
He's doing our show.
Yeah.
That's not really how it works. That's the good clubs will do basically whatever you want for the show.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
And then it's like, I never will say I'll never go back to that club, but I will actively try.
You're never going back to that club. That's for sure.
But I will actively try to never go back to the clubs that don't treat me right.
Right.
And it's just like, just being nice to me, doing small things.
The little things, dude. I think when I did Cleveland, I sold no tickets to Hilarities.
Yeah.
But I showed up and they had
Great
made a little sign on the green room door.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that stuff means, it seems so stupid and insignificant. But you do so many clubs where they almost seem annoyed that you're there.
Yeah.
When you do have a place that is at least acting like they're excited to have you, that's all the difference.
Well, Hilarities is a great club, and
Mhm.
that's why, because the people that work there really care about you. And when they care about you, they also care about the audience. They also care about their club. And so people come there and it's a fun experience.
Mhm.
The same way for Zanies. I mean, Zanies, from the very first time I did comedy here, everyone was so nice to
With me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, my first time I opened for Pablo Francisco here.
Oh, okay.
Shortly before the time,
Little tortilla boy.
and everyone
Get
was
to the chopper.
Yeah. Everyone
He's
was
a
so
killer,
nice to
dude.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This club has always been nice to me, and it's continued to be nice to me. And it's like I did a club. I actually did. I don't know if I want to say the club, but I did a club, and I had. We booked this deal long ago, and I agreed to a certain amount, and there was no bonuses in the deal. Sometimes when you go to a club for your first time around, there's no bonuses in the deal, right? So, but I go there, and I sell out 5 shows. So the money that I'm to receive is much lower than what it would have been had these percentage deals been put into place.
Yeah.
Right.
But this club, knowing that they didn't have to do it, did it anyway and just went ahead and paid me as if we had that. They go, you sold out 5 shows.
We'll make it right.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you'll remember that forever with that
Yeah.
club. Yeah.
You don't want to mention that club?
Well, I don't know. I don't want somebody to be like, oh, well,
They
I
didn't
came.
do
and
that for me.
Yeah. So I don't. you know,
right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we're very lucky to have a great club here in
Yeah.
Nashville. So
And they care
Yeah.
about the local comics. They're
Mhm.
always trying to help. They do a class here. They're always
Mhm.
trying to help comics get to the next level.
Mhm.
So whenever people really locally begrudge this club, I'm always like, they want you to succeed. They
Mhm.
want
Right.
to help you.
Mhm.
If you just show up and do well, they want to help you.
Well, you don't have to do well. Show up and be nice, and
Yeah.
respectful,
Right.
and they'll help you get better.
yes,
They want to help you.
Yeah.
Anybody who acts like they're not allowed here at this club or whatever, for whatever reason, it's like, just show up and be nice.
Mhm.
And, and it's like, but doing well is important. Like I used to do back in the day, I would do like Chad Ryden and Friends, and they would be small shows. They wouldn't be sold very well, but I was like, I was thankful to be on the show.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I want to do well. So I'm not going to phone it in because there's only a few people in the audience.
Yeah.
I want to go out and crush. So I'm doing my best jokes because I'm like, I want the club to
Yeah.
see me do well.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I never phoned it in. Now I'm at a place now where I'm doing new material Monday. I might be like, I'm working on these jokes.
Yeah.
And if they bomb, they bomb. But that's what this is.
I don't care if I kill tonight.
Yeah.
so-
But I'm trying this, I'm trying
Mhm.
this material out.
Yeah.
Who was the baseball player? One of the greats. I can't remember.
Cal Ripken.
That.
Was it Cal Ripken that said that?
Well, there was one where, why do you always hustle and run, blah, blah, blah. He's
Nate
like,
always talks about this. I can't remember who it
oh, he
is.
does?
Yeah, he's told me that before. They go, it's somebody's first time seeing me today.
Yeah.
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 I can't remember which.
There's some
player.
kid in the stands that's first time to see me.
Well, Cal Ripken wrote about in his biography that he got thrown out of a game once, which is pretty unlike him.
Mm-hmm.
We got thrown out of a game, and some kid wrote him and said, "This was my I've been wanting to see you my whole childhood. And then I showed up, and the one game I'm at, you got thrown out.
Oh,
and he's
no.
like, he thinks about that now. Like, it
Yeah,
could be
that's
somebody.
You
So,
should write that kid back and
So yeah, you
offer
got
him
lucky.
some tickets.
mhm.
No,
Yeah.
you got to see
Yeah, you got to see a real
a
experience.
rare thing.
As an
why don't you
adult, I'd love to
relax?
see my favorite player get thrown out of a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be the best.
Yeah.
Last comment comes from Aaron Friedrich.
Another classical composer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed y'all have talked about texting each other on multiple occasions. It kind of sounds like maybe y'all have a group chat going. If so, what do I need to do to join? I have an iPhone, so I will keep the thread blue, baby. That's very considerate of you, Aaron. We all have a group thread without one of us.
yeah, that's for sure.
So we have one without. So
Multiple threads.
I'd say the most active is the one between the three of us right here at the table.
There was one, and it's just like you would think. We were debating an entertainer who had a questionable past recently, and Dusty was like, "It was the '70s. Times were different then." And you're like, "Yeah, but that doesn't give him a leeway to blah blah blah." And then Dusty said, "King David," and he starts mentioning Old Testament characters, compared it to the 1970s. He's like, "They did it." And it was just such a funny.
It's honestly
argument.
a more high level debate than what happens on the podcast.
Yeah.
So maybe
Well, we
one
get
day.
into it.
Yeah.
Because I feel restrained a little on the podcast, but
Chime in with what your thoughts.
yeah.
Yep.
So sorry, Aaron.
That's it. No, thank you to everybody who wrote in. Write in next week.
I'm sure they will about gravity.
I just don't know when people will, they just got to get it. That's where I'm at with it.
Mhm.
And that's where you're at with it. And that's where you're at with it. You think it's magnetism. You think the earth is way farther away than it is. I don't think
What are you talking
I don't even
about?
think their space exists. It's like
Yeah,
We're all at
yeah.
different places.
Yeah.
They're all equally not insane things to
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Our next sponsor, we love Delete Me. It's our old pal. Ever wonder how much of your personal data is out there on the internet for anyone to see? More than you think, more than you'd be comfortable with. If you really knew the answer to that, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
That's true.
Your name, your contact info, your social security number, the women you have a crush on, the things you're scared of when you close your eyes at night. All of that information's out there. It's all being compiled by data brokers. It's being sold online, and that's why you need to use Delete Me. It's a subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data brokers, the worst people on earth. Sign up and provide Delete Me with exactly what info you want deleted, and they go, "We got it." And then they crawl through the internet and they remove it. They just kind of clip it out. They find where it is and they go, "Give me that." And they take it back. And that's what you want. To put it simply, Delete Me does all the hard work of wiping you and your family's personal info from data broker websites. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners today. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/Nate and use promo code Nate at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/Nate and enter code Nate at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/Nate, code Nate.
All right. This week, guys, we're talking about game shows.
All right, which we've done before, but not with Dusty.
Yeah. We did it about 3.5 years ago. Should we call this Game Shows Part 2, or how far can you go?
It's very funny to put a part 2 3 years later.
I think we should do part 2.
When I don't remember anything of part 1.
Yeah, we'll try to get some views on part 1.
Can we do game shows continued? As if it's
But movies, after a while, it's more like a reboot than a Part 2. And
Game
I'm going to do a
shows-
lot of the same facts that I did 3.5 years ago.
game shows rebooted. Maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Let them know.
I like that. Game shows, the rebrand.
There you go. 2.0.
Yeah.
So that was when it was me, you, and Nate, when it was
Golly.
fun. But
It's just light, kind of goofy stuff.
it was
Yeah.
a different time.
Yeah. Well, you got to spice it
But
up.
we made
you
our
know?
decision. Now we have to live with it.
I don't
So-
think we said the word demon until 120 episodes in. And now
You guys were missing out. It
Yeah.
was you realize that it was the chunk that was missing.
Yeah.
That's right. It
There's
was.
some people who are still against it. I mean, once in a while, I'll see people going, "I just can't get used to Dusty," and I'm like,
Well, you've been around for more than
Yeah,
half of
I
it.
mean,
now.
take
it
yeah,
easy.
yeah. Come on, guys.
All right.
Get with
So
it.
I asked this last time. I'm going to ask it again. Your favorite game show host?
Steve Harvey.
Mhm.
Steve
Family
Harvey's the
Feud
best.
would be your favorite.
Oh,
game
Steve
show.
Harvey's the best host of any reality show, game show. He's unbelievable.
I mean, I hate to just agree, but Steve Harvey is so funny.
Mhm.
And then Family Feud is a show I've always watched. I've always loved Family Feud. And for a long time, it felt like it didn't matter what rerun you were seeing, what host it was. But now it's like, and no offense to Al Borland, but I don't want to see a Family Feud with Richard Karn.
No,
It's Steve Harvey or nobody else.
Who's Al Borland?
Al from Home Improvement, that dude.
Yeah, did I say Al Borland? Yeah.
I don't remember his name. Yeah,
That's Home
Al.
Improvement, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, him.
okay.
Him
Yeah.
and then the guy from Seinfeld that hosted
Yeah.
it.
John O'Hurley.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I mean, I love those guys.
Yeah.
They're very funny, but Steve Harvey came in, made the show his.
Oh man,
It's nobody else now.
Yeah.
it's so good. If you watch Family Feud, there's probably 40 seconds of gameplay in the entire half hour.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rest of it is him just riffing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just so good at it.
Mhm.
I mean, if you haven't watched it in a while, just YouTube like Family Feud Steve Harvey compilation. There's a million funny videos of he's the best.
I used to watch it all the time. You know, it's like similar, but in the reverse. Like The Price is Right. I mean, Bob Barker is superior to Drew Carey.
Mhm.
Drew Carey is watchable,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but Bob Barker's far superior.
Yeah.
That show was
Bob Barker was very funny.
Yeah.
He was funny. And then by the end, it was kind of funny how kind of checked out or like it seemed like he was kind of over everything. And that was funny too,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. But he was, yeah, I would be nervous on Family Feud because if I see something stupid, Steve Harvey's going to make fun of
Even
it.
if you
It's gonna go
don't,
viral.
you might not even say anything stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, Dusty, you have appeared on a couple of game shows.
Yeah, I've been on Nashville Squares,
Yep.
which aired on CMT,
I emailed you some links, by the way.
Okay. I'm pulling
which
them up.
is
How many years ago?
this was, I don't know, 2019 maybe. I don't know if it was that long ago, but I gotta say it was before COVID.
Okay. So, it was at least 2019 then.
Yeah,
Could have been older.
could have been early 2020, very early, because I did do some stuff very early in that year.
Mhm.
Um,
This video is restricted on the Zanies network. What have you been up to? Dustin?
who knows?
Your YouTube account is blocked on the Zanies Wi-Fi.
Well, I don't know. My YouTube doesn't get too wild.
I know, but I
mean-
think it knows.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I got a video on my YouTube where I break down my time on Nashville Squares. And I explain what happened because, you know, I was on this show and then I had some good jokes,
Mhm.
right?
mhm.
Nashville Squares filmed in LA, first off. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders,
Right.
which is from
A
Texas.
Nashville staple.
Yeah. And then you have Gary Busey on there.
yeah, our
Hosted-
mayor.
Hosted by Bob Saget.
Hosted by Bob Saget. But I said nothing. And when they introed me, I go, nothing makes me think of Nashville like Gary Busey and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. It got a good laugh from the audience.
Yeah.
It was fun. They cut that.
Of course.
And then there was another time I made a joke. I forget what it was, but it got cut. And then there was a little banter in between me and Bob Saget. Bob Saget, like on the show, I just had the answer. So they asked me the question, and the idea is that I don't have the answer. I'm just guessing. But I reveal the answer. And Bob Saget's like, no, I don't think so, or whatever. And I go, no, and I'm trying to not reveal how the game works.
Yeah.
But I go, no, I'm pretty sure that's it here. And then we had like a little back and forth, and then to the point where, he was laughing, we were having a good time, to the point that they had to actually kind of step in and be like, no, this is the answer. And then he said to me that I was very funny. And then that was all cut. So when you watch the video, it's just him asking me, and then I just give the answer, and then we move on.
Wow.
So they cut all my funny moments. So it looked like, and they just were, I don't know, I felt like they were highlighting other people, and some had funny moments, but overall the show was very cheesy,
Mhm.
and they really messed up.
Who won the episode you were on?
On that Nashville Squares, I think it's contestants win. So we
Oh,
don't
okay,
win.
yeah.
But I did have one of the like winning keys or whatever.
And the contestant, because I watched this video, was Mickey
Guyton.
Guyton. Was she a big deal then?
I don't think so. I knew about her, but I don't think she was.
You know her? Country singer?
You know, one of my best friends, Greg Roush, who played guitar at my wedding, played guitar for her and toured with her all over the country. So I know her from that. And she had a few songs that I know. She's very talented. Mm-hmm. And she was on that episode with Dustin.
She was the contestant.
She was one of the contestants, and then there was another guy that I don't know who that was. Yeah. But and then Marie Osmond was the center square, and Marie Osmond was being a little flirty with me. I mean, she could be in her 70s, but she was still very attractive. Yeah. Dina Carter was there. I told her I had a crush on her when I was a kid, but I called her Deanne Carter, so it's tough to be like I had a crush on you, but also I don't know how to say your name.
Yeah.
John Reap, our friend, was on it.
Yep.
Bill Engvall, Sarah Tiana was on it, and also one of the writers. And the lady who plays Reba's husband's wife in the Reba show. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
The blonde lady, real goofy.
Okay.
I'm sure if I saw her, I'd probably...
The TV show Reba, the original.
Yeah.
She gets divorced from her husband. Her husband remarries and marries that lady.
Melissa Peterman.
All right. And then there was another guy, Carson.
Wentz.
No.
Daly?
Carson.
Johnny Carson?
I don't know.
Beck?
Nah, I can't remember his name. He was very funny and nice. And then Gary Busey.
Okay.
And that was our whole lineup. And it was fun, just kind of hanging. But it was pretty obvious that the show wasn't going to make it.
So you guys all have the answers, and it's up to you to make it funny?
Yeah, and then you try to riff a little bit, and you give an answer, and then the contestant has to decide whether you're given the right answer or not.
Okay.
So they'll ask me, and I go, "Oh, I think it's this," and then they have to go, "Does he know or does he not know?" And I don't think you have to give the right answer. I don't know. I don't remember. Even though that's how Hollywood Squares works too, which I've just done 2 episodes. Yeah,
the reason I picked it this week is I think your episode airs tonight.
All right.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, check that out. CBS.
All right.
It's going to be great.
And who are we on with that?
I did 2 episodes. So Drew Barrymore was the center square.
Okay.
Yeah. And Justin Long was next to her, who they dated for a while, apparently.
Did they?
And so they had, that. But Justin was very fun. They were actually both very nice and fun.
Justin Long's great in everything I've seen him in. Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish was on one, if not both, of my episodes.
Was she ready?
She was ready. I don't know what they'll show, but Jay Farrow and her had a real back and forth for a minute.
In a goofy way?
I don't know, kind of started in a goofy way and then elevated to where I'm like, I don't know how much of that they'll show. Let's see, who, Tyra Banks.
Man, that's a star-studded.
Yeah.
Some good squares.
Yeah.
Kevin Nealon was there.
All right.
And,
friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
And other people, but it's been a while. I did this, I don't know, 6-7 months ago.
So you'll be watching it for the first time too.
Yeah.
So
and
fun.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know how.
Hosted by Nate Burleson.
Yes. Who was very nice and funny. He's not a comic, but he's a very funny guy. I'm very uncomfortable on those shows.
Why?
Because my whole style of comedy is not to jump in. Right? Like, I try to jump in here and I get comments of people saying I interrupt.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just trying to jump in.
Yeah.
But I'm not
trying to chime in.
Yeah. So that's not my style. That's why I like stand-up. I just get to do it by myself.
Right.
You're not interrupting anybody.
Right. Right. In fact, if I am, they shouldn't be talking.
That's right.
And so and then I'm also on there with like movie stars and like one of my jokes kind of was like this, the contestants, they'll call on you. They'll go, "Oh, next, the beautiful Tyra Banks," or they'll go, "the very funny Justin Long." And then the guy was like, "Well, I just watched his special, so Dusty Slay." And I go, "Oh, okay. I like how you gave everybody else a compliment."
Yeah.
And that's fun.
That'll be
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll cut all my jokes.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. And then I did a show on it. There was a network called Quibi that was going to be put out just on phones.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID happened. And I don't know if that was a good idea anyway, but COVID killed it.
Yeah.
I think they were looking for people on New York subways to be watching this on their phones on the way to work.
Yeah.
I think that was their real plan.
Ugh.
But I had a show called Nice Ones hosted by this was so long ago. But anyway, it was a roast show, but it was a compliment battle. So it was like three of us on there. We're all trying to out compliment
Is this
each
the
other.
Ron Funches show?
Ron Funches, yeah.
Yeah.
And I won.
All right.
I won that.
All right.
Is that online?
It may be, at least a clip of it from my channel is on there. But
Yeah. Huh.
and then I did After Midnight.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about mentioning that. That's almost like, I don't even think of that as a game show. Well, I guess it is. You are competing.
I did, and I won. So,
Oh, okay.
so, yeah, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
And
Against Sarah Tiana, right?
Sarah Tiana, yep. And it was really great. It was really fun. I like doing that show, but again, that's not my kind of show. None of that is really my thing. But
Right.
I like doing it. It's fun to go out to LA sometimes. I don't want to be in LA a lot, but it is fun to
You
go
like to
out
poke
there.
your head in and go,
Yeah.
give me some stuff.
Do a little game
and
show.
then I'll go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put me on TV.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the woods.
You used to do a joke about Family Feud, and you'd ask the audience, anybody ever been on it? And sometimes they hadn't they?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, I did. I met a family.
Yeah.
The joke was, if you watch Family Feud, it's always a cool black family versus the lamest white family you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's like, they ask the white family, like, name something you bring to a barbecue. And they, hummus? It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
something lame like that. And then I think I called them like a lame last name. And then somebody said that they were on the show and they had the same last name.
Oh, wow.
It was
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
Polish last name.
Yeah, Kowalski or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I hadn't
It's a
done
good
that in a
joke.
while. Thanks.
It's a good
man.
joke.
If you could be on any show, what do you
You
think?
should do that whole album that you used to have and just do it again as a special
I
and
thought
just put it out on your
I
YouTube.
thought about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about doing that.
You should.
Because it's not out anywhere.
I don't know.
It's
I think
such
it
a-
might be on Spotify.
It's some of your classic jokes, and it's so
Some
good.
of it's so bad though. But it's like
No.
I'm sure you listen to your first album and you go, I would never do that now.
But I have pulled from that album and
Yeah.
redid those jokes,
Yeah.
and I like them better.
Well, that
you know?
might be the move.
Yeah,
Because
For
you
sure.
tell them better.
yeah. We all know someone who loves taking photos, but there are hundreds of pictures are just wasting away on their phone.
Oh, yeah.
I have so many pictures of my kids on my phone. They just sat there, but not anymore. I finally started putting them to good use with a unique, stylish digital picture frame from Aura Frames. It was named the #1 digital picture frame by Wirecutter. And for good reason. It's so easy to set up, and they have different frame options. I like this because I can send these photos to my parents. They all have one. So I get a great picture of my kids doing something cute and fun, and then my dad can see it pop up on his frame and go, "Who are these kids?" And Nate's parents just got one for Christmas, and they are loving it. They get to see so many pictures they haven't seen of their grandkids. I don't want to post all of my kids' photos on social media, but I do want to share them with my family. And Aura Frames is how we make that happen. It comes with unlimited storage. All you need is a free Aura app and a Wi-Fi connection. You can upload as many photos and as videos as you want all year round. You can change the speed of them, and it also plays videos. That's a unique feature that it plays videos.
Mhm.
And it's easy to do. It is very easy. And one fun thing I like is you give the frame to someone, it's just sitting in their house, and you can send them whatever photo you want. And then they're just in the living room, and suddenly a lot of pictures are popping up, and they're like, and their friends are like, "What is this?" And they're like, I don't know. Right now, you can save on the perfect gift that keeps on giving by visiting auraframes.com. For a limited time, listeners can get $20 off their best-selling Carver matte frame with code NATE. That's AURA frames.com, promo code NATE. Show the support by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
But what game show do you think you'd have the best chance of winning at? Probably Price is Right for you. I feel like you just know like what the cost of flour is.
I know, I really don't.
Okay.
I can see why you would think that, but I don't. We talked about this a little bit on the last game show episode because I went back and kind of looked at what we talked about. I said I would do terrible on Jeopardy because I usually don't even know the answer, but I would never get in on
But
time.
if you do, you can't get the buzzer working.
Yeah. But when I watch Jeopardy, I do terrible at home. But when I watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I do pretty well. Because if you give me the correct answer,
okay,
I can usually, more times than not, figure it out.
If you won Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, would you quit comedy? What would you do?
No, after I won $1 million plus taxes.
Yeah,
taxes would be
taken away.
$400,000. So you'd lose that right off the top.
Yeah.
So you get, you know what's funny? I thought about this because like lottery winnings, the government takes like 40%. So every time someone wins the lottery, the government wins the lottery.
Yeah. It's funny how that works.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's a business to be in right there.
Yeah.
The government always wins the lottery.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Well, what game shows would you guys be on?
Well, I want to know who's your phone a friend? You're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I don't think any of us are your phone a friend.
And the question is about space.
I might call Dusty just to
eliminate some answers.
Just for the clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need something on my socials.
Yeah.
That's very funny to go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire clip farming. I'm gonna get some reels out of this.
You phone a friend when you know the answer just for the clip.
You know, I'm not answering your question, but
you go, you know what? I'm not going to go with that answer.
Yeah.
I was looking, I've got different answers to this. Can you Google, can the phone a friend use Google? And one person said, yeah, it's allowed. I helped my friend win $50,000. I just sat at home and Googled.
Wow.
And then I read other places that said, no, that's not allowed. They even have security people watching the friend to make sure they don't Google.
Oh, so your phone a friend is not just a random person. You're not just calling your dad and he's out fishing.
No, they make sure
they know you're on standby.
Oh, okay.
And you can have, I think you can have a few people. So if somebody knows something more about history versus other stuff. So I think for space, you'd have Dusty.
Mm-hmm.
Anything astronomy, physics, Dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm
like food and stuff.
Food and stuff.
That pretty much covers
Would
it.
a food question be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
How many ways can you prepare an egg?
Yeah.
If it was like the first 5 books of the Bible, I would definitely call Dusty.
Yeah. Old Testament stuff.
Yeah.
You'd have them on there.
Yeah.
But you probably have somebody in your family that's like, well, if you can Google, I think I got to be up there. I'm probably the fastest Googler in this.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
In the Nateland universe. I have to.
I never seen anybody work a Roku remote as fast as Aaron does.
I'm so good.
Yeah.
I tried to do a bit about this once, but I feel like I can hold any remote and I can just feel where all the buttons are.
It's impressive.
I think about that. I thought about it this weekend. Every time I'm in a hotel room and I think about
because
you
of that bit or because me talking about
You've said it before. And like the one I had this weekend is this long, I think it was a Dish Network one.
But just close your eyes and you can feel where volume up is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the Roku's on the side now.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I can just hold it and I go, I just know where it is. I don't even,
Volume and channel are usually bigger buttons.
Yeah.
But this was like the callback to the last station. And it was.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Funky.
I mean, I'll turn on subtitles behind my back. I'm that good.
This guy's a genius.
I'm that good, dude.
Well, I remember seeing it at that old condo at the club in Huntsville. We were all hanging out there, and you were working that remote, and I was like, "Whoa,
yeah, dude, page
this
up,
guy grew up with a remote,
page
like this.
down. I'm
Yeah.
so good with the remote. I think it's just ingrained in me.
There was
There was a game show called Idiot Test. Do you remember that one? Ben Glebe was the host.
Yes, I used to
love.
love that show, and he was so funny on it.
Yeah,
too.
I love that show.
Glenn
Yeah.
Glebe was in Richmond this weekend at the Funny Bone, along with a couple other comics.
When you were in Quantico.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I was in Quentin, and I almost went after my show by there. I don't know Ben, but I almost went by there just to see it.
I featured for him years ago at Tampa Side Splitters.
Okay,
Yeah,
it was good.
It was
he a
good.
nice
Yeah,
guy?
I liked him. We hung out. We
That
had a good
show
time.
was great though.
It was really good.
Yeah.
who would you call Dusty?
I don't know, Aaron, and
Yeah.
it depends on the question.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know, I got my buddy Joey if it's about guns. You know,
Aaron.
Joey told me he knows everything. He said I can win any argument about gun rights. So I said, okay. So if
It's about gun rights.
if it's about gun rights,
Well,
I'll call Joey. But
That's not really how Who Wants to Be a Millionaire works either.
Second Amendment
Yeah,
questions.
it's not a question about you have to argue for gun rights.
I just saying, you asked me, you put me on the spot. I kind of want to phone a friend over that question that you just asked me.
Yeah, that's funny.
But you know, I love game show. Like Let's Make a Deal. I remember seeing old Let's Make a Deal, but Wayne Brady, great on the show.
Wayne Brady's great.
Big
at it.
fan.
Mhm.
I don't mind Drew Carey on The Price is Right, but it's Bob Barker's iconic.
Yeah.
It's impossible to fill his shoes.
Yeah.
But he does a good job.
does.
I used to love the dating shows. There were several, like Chuck Woolery. Does that count as a game show?
Chuck Woolery.
Chuck Woolery had the
The dating game
I feel like
or the newlywed game.
he had one Love Connection. That's the one I grew up watching.
Mm.
Love Connection was great.
That's what you're watching as a kid.
Is this the
Yeah.
show where he would just walk up
Yeah,
and
there
just
was
like
not a lot of supervision. going
these
on for
these
me.
old shows? The host of them just like walks up and makes out with all the women that are contestants.
Yeah, it's
on.
not Chuck. Woolery.
Okay, it's
He's
not Chuck.
doing that,
Okay,
no.
sorry,
Either
Chuck.
Richard Dawson would kiss every contestant on Family Feud.
So weird, dude.
They-
Man
they-
or woman, he would just do it.
No, well, that's a good point because his argument was they said they estimated 20,000 women he kissed.
Was he trying to break a record?
His argument was that the first time he did it, a woman was nervous and he kissed her on the cheek for good luck and then she got it right. So then he starts kissing every woman on the lips. He's like, just because they're nervous. But he's not kissing the men.
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
set these broads at ease.
Yeah.
You know, you're creeping them out, Dawson.
It is so creepy.
He's like, once I've sexually assaulted them, then
Yeah. Everything else is easy.
As Wikipedia says, television executives repeatedly tried to get him to stop the kissing. They pulled him, hey, dude, this is a family show, buddy, and you're just grabbing the women and kissing them.
Yeah.
He asked viewers to write in and vote on the matter.
Mm.
The wide majority favored the kissing. Well,
Well, sure.
they were getting trolled. Dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
they were getting
I favor it
trolled.
too, but not if I was one of those women.
You guys don't remember Love Connection? Chuck
I do.
Woolery?
I do.
Okay.
I never
Okay,
watched it,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I do remember it.
94. That's probably when you were born, huh? 92.
91.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Price is Right, I think for so many kids, including myself, that's the show you watch when you're out sick
Yeah.
or a snow day
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You watch Price is Right.
Dude, when I watch Prices Right Now, I can taste ginger ale.
Yeah.
I just taste saltine crackers and ginger ales because I was homesick from school.
Upset
Yeah.
stomach.
Upset, so faking it sometimes, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you could ask this.
You ever play hooky growing up?
No,
You never did?
I don't think so. Mm-mm. Did you?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I did for sure.
Yeah, and I think
My mom was down with it.
I think my parents probably knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. I saw.
I didn't do it a lot, but I would do it, a couple times a year for
Mhm.
sure. Sometimes I would be sick, but
you put a thermometer up to a flashlight, everything, anything like
no,
that.
I don't think my mom never. She's like, all right, if you're sick, then you get to that.
Oh.
It didn't have to be.
I got tested.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So you would go that far to put the
I
thermometer?
don't,
up
I don't
against
remember if
something?
I actually ever did that, but I do remember faking it
Yeah,
a couple times.
they're finding out right now. Listening to this podcast.
Yeah, I think they probably know though. I think everybody does that.
Yeah.
My mom was chill
Yeah.
about it. She's like, don't abuse it, but we'll take some days off.
Okay.
Yeah. It's easier on her too.
Yeah,
You don't have to get ready and go.
yeah.
If you guys could spin the wheel on Wheel of Fortune or Price is Right, if you only could do one, which one would you do?
I've always wanted to spin that wheel on The Price is Right.
Me too.
I get so annoyed when guys don't give it a good spin.
You got to get at least a one lap.
You got to go up first and then down. I want to get high enough that it lifts me off the ground and then really whip it
I
down.
think they only pick guys that look like they can't spin the wheel good.
No, well, Bob Barker would make fun of you if you couldn't get it all the way around.
He would, yeah.
It was kind of great.
Yeah.
You should have to do it at least all the way around once, right? Is that
It's
the
a
rule?
rule.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But some people
try
try
to get a 2-lapper.
Some people try to time it on that, I think, to hit the first time.
Yeah, and the crowd will boo you. I've seen
Yeah.
a guy try to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Price is Right.
There's no time in it. My goal would be, how many times can I get this thing to go around?
Just let it rip.
It's not even about what you get.
Nah.
No, I'm just
None of those prizes are worth it.
That's like bowling and going for velocity over
Yeah.
how many pins you hit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to go straight through. It's so fast that you just knock the pins down right in front of the ball.
See, I think I would do it on the first spin, but if I got like 60 cents and I got a second spin and I need 30, then I'm using some strategy. I'm not just letting it rip.
No, I think it's all about how good you look. Like, sure, you lose, but if they show that, if somebody clips that up, you can be like, yeah, but look how good that spin was.
Yeah.
We talked about this last time. The guy who bid $250,000 in the showcase showdown.
Oh, yeah. And Bob Barker even gave him an out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. He let him, but his out was 60,000.
That's right. And it was like a car and like a desk.
I mean, it was something.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Some poor guy. I think he's in the Navy.
Yeah.
And it's like a car and a trip to, I don't know, Lexington, Kentucky.
It's on YouTube if you want to watch it.
$250,000.
Oh, no.
They go, well, hold on, think about it now. He goes, $60,000. And they're like,
And then the other leg goes $1.
Oh, yeah, because it's all about not going over.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a car and a trip nowadays, $60,000. That's a low bid.
There was
I guess. Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't know when this guy was on there. 250,000 is very,
it was a long time ago.
very high. But
This there was a former manager at Stardome who he took us around. I was with Nate. Took us around to do morning radio, and he said, "I won this car on The Price is Right," and he made it to the Showcase Showdown and won.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the
Oh
only guy
my
I've known
God.
who's actually
Yeah,
went
that's
on
amazing.
and won. Yeah.
Here's the video, Tessie. The speaker on my lap. I just remembered. I dropped my laptop on the ground, and now the speaker doesn't work.
you would think for how much they cost, they could handle a little something. You know what I mean?
I completely forgot that.
Oh well.
This is actually. I mean, headphones still work, but it does not. The speaker does not work.
So there's a whole strategy making on as contestant on The Price is Right.
Mm-hmm.
You get there early, you get in line, and they're looking for people enthusiastic, high
I would
energy.
never get it.
I would not make it. They ask you your name, where you're from, your occupation. They said don't ramble. If you ramble with a simple question, they likely think you'd do that on the air when the host is asking you a question. So be succinct.
Be enthusiastic, but don't ramble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't give a one-word answer, but limit your
3 or 4.
He said, I'm looking for energy, sincerity, and potential humor.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like the opposite of jury duty.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
It's 325 audience members. That's about the size of Zanies.
Golly, that's small.
Yeah. 9 contestants get chosen. 6 make it up to contestants row.
Man.
You get $300 if you get up there but don't make it on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So
If you
That's
make
cool.
it on stage, do you still get the $300?
if you don't win your prize, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't know. When Drew Carey took over, the executive producer started making the games easier and more people winning because he wanted people to warm up to Drew Carey and they'll like you more if everybody's winning.
Oh, if he came in, the new guy, and just nobody's winning anything.
Yeah.
That would be
Not that it would be his fault, but
Yeah,
still, it's
yeah.
just a lot easier. And they fired that producer because he was like $70,000 over budget.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that seems about right though.
Yeah.
It feels like they were waiting to fire that guy.
Maybe.
70 grand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing to these TV
Some people don't even claim their prizes because taxes.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Well, you claim the prize and then sell the thing.
Yeah.
You get the car and then you sell it.
But
sell it for $250,000.
Yeah. If you can get it.
Yeah, but if you can't sell it, I mean, now the hassle's on you to.
Yeah.
I got all these taxes, and if I don't sell all this stuff.
That's what happened when Oprah gave away cars to everyone. Everyone, I think everyone either sold the car or ended up in some kind of financial trouble because of the taxes.
Now, we talked about this last time.
It's more the government. Oprah tries to give out a car, and the government's like, but what about us? We didn't get a car.
You did JFL or one of those shows with Danielle Perez.
Yes.
And she went on Prices. She's in a wheelchair.
Right.
She went on Price is Right, and her thing she was trying to win was a treadmill. And people online, of course, freaked out about it. But she was really cool about it. She thought it was funny. She had fun with it.
Yeah.
She didn't throw a fit. And
you got to pivot. You got to pivot to a different prize.
it's very funny.
That's a super funny clip. Yeah, and it's going to happen to she's a really funny comedian too. So she found a way to make it funny.
You think though, if she's a comedian, they talked about this bit beforehand?
Maybe.
Because maybe they're like, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's get her on here, offer her a treadmill. Drew Carey's a comedian. She's a comedian.
Yeah.
They're like, let's make a viral video out of this.
Yeah.
We'll start selling some tickets for you. And maybe, give that treadmill to Aaron. He's been breaking them out here.
If you guys were on the Family Feud, who would be the people you bring with you?
Well, I think we should do a Nateland Family Feud.
I think Nate can probably make it happen at this point.
How many? Is there 5 up there?
I think,
5, yeah.
Oh, 5?
We do Steven.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Abigail.
Oh, yeah, it'd be fun.
Or Adrian.
Yeah.
Nah. I was with you till.
Okay.
Well, okay. Besides that, if you had to take your family, who would it be?
We've talked about this with my family. I think it's.
Oh, y'all already.
Yeah, because we talked about it because we have 6 in our family, so it's like somebody's getting left out, and he'd have to leave out. I think my little brother would just not want to do it.
See the one went to Purdue?
Yeah.
He's out.
He's the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
Went to a Big Ten school.
Yeah.
Nah, he's just not. He just wouldn't want to do it, so I'd get him.
What if it was you and your dad and all his wives?
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I think what I would do would be me and my wife.
Yeah.
My dad, her dad, and my mom.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I think character-wise, that'd be funny because my parents aren't married, but both very Southern and country.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then my wife's dad, very country, but Canadian country.
Canadian.
So I think it'd be really mix it up.
Yeah.
Who was
and then me and my wife, could fight about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You and your wife, your dad, your mom, and Hannah's dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what I would do. Now, if it had to be just my side of the family, I think I'd go mom and dad and then my 2 brother-in-laws that I have.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be fun. I don't care. I mean, listen, I think you win $20,000, right? The government takes 40%. So you're down to what? 12,000.
Yeah.
And then there's 5 of you. You split that. Who couldn't use a couple of grand, but it's not the end of the world.
You're covering the flights.
Yeah. So it's not a very profitable show.
You break it even if you want.
So you just have some fun.
Yeah, just have a good time. We get some clips.
Yeah.
Have you ever come up with an idea for a game show?
I've tried.
Okay. Any that you want to talk about? Or are you still working?
No, I never.
You still working?
I remember
on
a
it?
reality show idea you had.
I had a reality show idea. I still like it, though. I don't want to share it.
Okay.
Well, I had one that I shared on my podcast called The Rearranger. You ever heard that one?
No, wait.
Where I'm the rearranger.
Dusty Slade, the rearranger.
Yeah, and so I go into people's houses that are really messy, and I can have tools, but I don't bring anything in. I just take what you have and make it better. I make it make sense.
You don't take anything out either.
Well, maybe I can take stuff out. If there's trash, I'll take it out. But for the most part, I just come in and I go, this is a mess. And then I go, this should go here. This should go here. And by the end, we've rearranged your house and now it's better.
Uh-huh.
The rearranger.
Sounds like the worst show of all time.
I think it would crush. The rearranger.
Just 4 minutes of Dusty moving books on a bookcase.
You got it. Yeah.
Pushing a chair.
You know, I could bring some tools so I could hang some shelves if you had them.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like if you have
no
them.
tools.
No, I can do tools, but
Okay.
I'm not bringing shelving in.
Okay.
I got to take what you have and make it work.
You gotta
And
use
just
your
rearrange.
tools.
Yeah, I've done
Yeah.
this for a couple of places, and I feel like I improved it. I was staying with my buddy in LA one time. He had a roommate situation where him and his roommate, they didn't get along. So I had to sleep in his bedroom on the floor because he was like, my roommate's not going to like it if you're sleeping on the couch. So I said, okay. And then their living room was just a wreck, just no organization. And so I go, let me rearrange this. He goes, nah, my roommate's not going to like it. So while he was gone, I rearranged it. I rearranged their living room. And then he came home and he goes, oh, my roommate's not going to like this.
Uh-huh.
She came home. She goes, oh, this is great. I love this.
Oh,
And I go, yeah, because everybody wants to live in an organized place.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. You want your house rearranged every now and then.
Yeah.
She just said that while you were there.
Mhm.
As soon as you
As
left.
soon as you left, you just don't invite that guy back.
Yeah.
I'm the
They,
rearranger.
they bonded over you.
Yeah. Well,
If you had an idea for one, Brian?
I'll say this, though. If
Yeah.
she liked what they had going on before and was mad about what I did, then she needs better help. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She needs to chime in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delete me.
A guy who comes to your house with all your leaves and bags them up, and then he just leaves with them.
Yeah.
He leaves with the leaves.
Yeah.
The
The
lever.
lever.
Yeah.
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 There you
None
go.
of this really has the structure of a show, but I like the
The rearranger's a
enthusiasm.
hot show.
I guess the answer is I don't have no.
I'm glad I said it on Nateland. This has a bigger audience in my podcast, so maybe I can get a show.
You don't even do your podcast anymore.
Well, I've taken some time.
Extreme makeover.
He's like, I'm remodeling my kitchen. I'm like,
I
how
am.
long does it take to take a microwave out?
It's taken a lot longer than you would think.
Just take the microwave out and you're done. The
We
rearranger
have
over here.
No microwave in our
Yeah,
house now.
The rearranger can't arrange his own house.
Yeah, this is not a good selling point for your show.
This is construction. I'm talking about rearranging.
Oh, so you would never do anything this intense on the show.
I wouldn't rearrange your kitchen cabinet.
How would you rearrange the studio in here if you had to?
Well,
Take a lot of the Nate stuff down.
Yeah.
Well, no, you don't have to take it out, but you could put
There's more dusty
Just
stuff.
rearrange
some
it,
other things.
Put it
here.
off camera.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I had to fight really hard to get this, and then you got a bigger one, and then so I try to rearrange that. You got a couple of things. You got a podcast that you don't even do anymore over there, and
Yeah.
somebody stopped you, and
I got to stop. Yeah.
no, the studio's great.
Yeah.
So this is not something to rearrange, but
Okay.
you know, I would need a volunteer. I would need someone to say, you know
Mhm.
what, my house is a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
I'm not talking a hoarder. I don't
Yeah.
want to come over and, you know, clean up.
You don't want anybody who actually needs help. You just want
No. A hoarder, you know, like that
Yeah.
TV show, that's too
Hoarders?
much.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah, what's the name of that?
yeah.
You need,
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. Half of the episodes are Dusty showing up and going, it's actually a pretty all right. in here."
yeah.
And it's a short episode.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. No, I can always find my family got upset with me because I'd go to their house and be like, you know, if you put the TV on this wall, I think it'd really be better for you in here.
Well, I'm
and
big
it
on
would be.
TV height is an epidemic in this country, and I've been trying to fix it.
Yeah.
I've been trying to call attention to this on social media.
TV above the fireplace is a real phenomenon that I don't care for.
Well, that's the trap people fall into is they think for some reason they have to put it above the fireplace.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But you got to rearrange how
Yeah.
you think about the room.
You know, at Nate's
Right.
house, they have that, but they actually have the thing that can lower the TV. If you're gonna
Which
do
does
it,
help.
you need that.
It's still a little too high in my opinion. But
Is it?
I'm not going to go to Nate's house and tell him he's doing things wrong.
Well,
But
Which
if I had a
house?
TV show called The TV Rearranger,
yeah.
and I show up,
Well, don't steal my name, but if
Because that's about to take off.
you could do the TV adjuster.
the TV adjuster.
I always wanted you guys to come to my house sometime, but now I don't.
Yeah, because I've seen how high your TV is.
You got a high TV?
Oh, so high. Yeah.
It's over the
He
fireplace.
stands on a stepping stool to watch the game.
We gotta rearrange that. I picture you having a neat house though.
I bet it is really neat.
I mean, it was before we had a 2-year-old.
Yeah, but I bet it's still pretty neat though.
Well, as long as the housekeepers keep it.
Okay.
Rosalita, get in here. I'm joking.
Yeah.
But yeah. My TV is over the mount. It seems like the obvious place in our house.
I feel like that's where a family portrait goes.
Yeah, I think you just
of you on Netflix. That's your family portrait. A giant photo of you. Yeah.
Well, you say that, but I mean, if that's what you want to put up at your house, that's fine.
I'll put one up at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Dusty Slade Netflix poster. Yeah, I think you gotta. I think it's once you have a TV that's low, that's eye level, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
You start to think about it it honestly ruined TVs for you because almost everywhere it's too high.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everywhere.
Well, the good thing is it doesn't bother us. So
doesn't bother you. You seem like you watch a lot of TV though, right?
Again, yeah, but before I had a child, I watch more. Yeah.
And you how do you got a recliner? You kind of lay back in it, so you're kind of looking up like that,
like a planetarium.
Yeah.
So you put it on a stand, like
you can mount it. A lot of people don't need to mount it though. A lot of people will mount it too high, right above a TV stand.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, well, just put it on the TV. You got a stand right there, dude.
Yeah.
Drop it on.
Yeah.
But I get it. You want to mount it. You want it high. You want it out of the way. But it's just once it's eye level. But I'm not walking around mad about this all day. Like I'm just, I'm not.
Well,
I'm not actually upset. It's just a funny thing to talk about.
I just think that it's, the TV being over the fireplace has replaced, a good family photo.
I think so.
That we used to have.
Yeah.
And now we're putting our TV there. Where's your family photo going?
Well, combine the two and have an aura frame.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Put a giant aura frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do make those flat screens now they have like picture frame borders.
I like that.
Looks like those are pretty nice.
I like that.
Well, what's your idea for a game show?
All right. Impractical Jokers, but raise the stakes, dude. I want somebody representing themselves in court for a real crime.
Sounds like a reality show.
Well, do they have court TV?
But I want comedians in their ear telling them stuff, but their life is on the line.
Wow.
But the trade-off is the show will pay for all their legal fees. They'll pay for everything. But they got Joe Gatto in their ear.
Wow.
They're on trial for murder.
They're on trial for, I think first season we'll stay away from violent crimes.
Okay.
Just to, ease the audience into everything.
Small claims.
Well, I'm going to piggyback off that.
Okay.
Survivor, but you can really die.
Okay. You got to sign a lot of paperwork to be on that show.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bit of a...
Stranded, naked, and alone, and you really are alone.
Yeah. No camera crew.
Yeah. You're just out there. We drop you off. We drop you off in a beaver parachute.
Yeah.
Do you know that? You don't get that reference.
I saw a clip about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you remember on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I think it was the British version, The Scandal.
Oh, yeah. I watched the whole documentary about it.
Yeah, there was a documentary about it.
Oh, I got one. Who Wants to Get Out of Debt? You do the show. You have to publicly display how much debt you have. And then you try to, instead of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, who wants to break even? That's what you're trying to get.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then if they lose, they go further in debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually go to jail for the debt. And then in court, you have Aaron in your ear telling you how to plead.
Do the people on Jeopardy who... Oh, go ahead.
Show called Jeopardy, but you're actually in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Your life is on the line.
My show can be called Double Jeopardy because it's you don't get another chance.
Yeah.
If you lose this. Yeah.
Yeah. Do the contestants on Jeopardy, if they don't win, but they were up, say $3,000, did they get to keep that, or
they get $1,000 and $2,000 brought to you by Aleve.
What?
I think so. If you win, this is how I think it works.
You glitch out?
Yeah. What are you talking about? I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So when you win, you get the dollar amount that you had, right? But I think the two losers get $1,000 or $2,000, and then it puts a little logo for Aleve up there. So I think it's brought to you by Aleve. They get $1,000 and $2,000.
Okay, now I get it.
Okay.
So I meant like, okay, it's a set amount of money. If you got $3,214,
no, you'll get if you're in second, you get 2,000. If you're in third, you get 1,000. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what is so funny right now.
Well, I guess
It was the brought to you by a leave thing. You just
Did you think I randomly
you just went into an ad.
thought this guy's so good.
Yeah. The only way to get 20% off is to.
All right, so the scandal on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is they would read the guy question. He would read the 4 answers out loud, the contestant, and his wife and friend were in the audience. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them would cough whenever he said the right answer.
It's as obvious as the Houston Astros banging the trash can.
Probably wouldn't be on this podcast with all my coughing.
Yeah, you'd be like, wait, that guy is in the audience coughing all the time.
And then they look at him and they go, he's just the age where that just happens.
Yeah.
He would lose every time because I would throw him off.
Well, Nate clears his throat a lot too. We could hide a lot of secrets in this podcast.
Yeah, the 2 guys that don't smoke at all are coughing the most.
Yeah.
Clearing their throats.
I'll catch up. I'll get there at some point.
So that was the scandal. You were saying is as obvious as the Astros.
Banging the trash cans for off-speed pitches. And you're like, well, once you know to listen for it, it's the most obvious thing in the world. Now, once you know somebody's coughing, it was literally like they coughed twice for B, 3 times for C, 4 times for D, or was it just when it was mentioned, they cough?
It was just when the right answer was mentioned.
When the person said it, it's so obvious.
I love a show like I don't know, like a detective show. I've seen an episode. I don't know if it was Monk or if it was Columbo, but where there's a game show scandal they're trying to uncover
This
it.
is Mr. Monk in the game show.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I won't ruin the ending, but it's a very obvious thing too.
Yeah. Monk, I want to write a detective show. But just the idea that
a lot of ideas out
that
there.
I would have to come up with these every time. I'm so impressed by detective shows.
Yeah.
Because they literally have to solve a case every episode in a creative way.
Yeah.
I agree. I guess they go through files and files of real cases.
For inspiration.
And write around it.
Yeah.
I mean, how else could you?
I don't know, man. Just get really smart people together and just have them try to solve this stuff.
I've been watching a lot of Andy Griffin lately.
Yeah.
Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffin. That's
I used to call
Andy
it
Griffin.
Andy Griffin growing up.
I think that's like Black Andy Griffith, but it's Eddie Griffin as the
The Eddie Griffin Show, starring Eddie Griffin. It's great. He always has to solve a problem. Every episode, a problem comes, he has to solve it, and
it's a moral dilemma every show.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes though, I don't have a good example, so I should probably say this. He misleads you a little bit, not to hurt your feelings.
Andy Griffith?
Everyone thinks it's always the most morally pure show ever, but I feel like sometimes.
Well, he often has to, he tries to solve the problem while making it look like Barney solved the problem.
Yeah.
He's always trying to.
He's surrounded by idiots.
Yeah, so he's trying to help Barney out. There was a feminism episode that they just had. And even,
They just had?
Well, I just watched, I guess. Season 1, years ago.
It's black and white.
But I'm like, I don't get into, feminism too much, but even I was like watching this being like, geez, Andy, like you're like being a real misogynist here, And in the end, it was
he got canceled.
Yeah, he couldn't be sheriff anymore.
The final episode of Eddie Griffith Show.
They take his badge.
Barney sheriff. Now.
But I'm watching and I'm like, take it easy, dude. And
Aunt B becomes sheriff.
Yeah, Sheriff B. But they got rid of A, Sheriff B. But they had to, they had to go hard. So that in the end, when he comes around, you really feel the impact.
Yeah. Sure.
And
it's just good writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably should wrap it up. There was on the dating game a serial killer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty wild. There's been a few times where someone has identified a criminal on the run on a game show.
It's almost like the same narcissism that causes you to be a serial killer that's what drives you to be on a reality game show.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Maybe you're so good at being a serial killer that you're like, gosh, am I going to have to get on TV to get caught? I mean, come on, guys.
I enjoy it, but there's no money in it.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the fame.
The love of the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess we should wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Should we talk about where we're at?
Yeah, we should.
Do it.
This Thursday, I am at Laugh Out Lounge in Winter Haven, Florida. Come to that show. Look, it's Valentine's. It's Thursday's the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go out on Valentine's night.
Never.
That's the worst night to go out. But if you want to celebrate Valentine's, go out the night before. Come to my show at Laugh Out Lounge. You'll have a good time.
Laugh Out Lounge?
Yeah.
Okay.
LOL.
All right.
Aaron Weber here.
Oh, I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm just getting started.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
And then Saturday, I am in Cocoa, Florida at Lineage Church, another Laugh All Night from 6 to 7. And then I'm in Mars Hill, North Carolina. I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I'm going to Montana for the first time, Bozeman, Montana.
Nice.
Love Montana.
Last Best Comedy Club. What'd you say?
I love Montana.
Yeah. Last Best Comedy Club. That's March 7th. And March 12th is my next Brian Bates and Friends here at Zany's.
Boom.
All right.
We're doing it. This weekend, if you do want to go out on Valentine's Day and you're in the Bloomington, Indiana area, I'll be performing for the first time at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, Indiana this weekend.
Great club.
February 14th and 15th. And then next week, I got a fun West Coast run. I'm going to be in Tacoma, Washington, and Spokane.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in Washington, come see me next week. Yeah.
Bloomington, Indiana, Comedy Attic. Jared really cares about the club.
Yeah.
He really cares about it.
Yeah, and it has a great reputation because of that.
All right. Also, another Valentine's Day show. If you happen to be in Fresno, California, I'll be there February 14th. February 15th, I'm in Sacramento. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do a couple weekends. February 21st, Boise, Idaho. Show is sold out. There may be a couple of tickets. February 22nd, Salt Lake City, Utah. And then I'm going to be in the Villages in Florida on the 26th, 25th. Zany's on the 26th. And then I'm filming my special February 28th in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Nice.
So these last shows that this will be me ramping up for the special. So it'll be hot, tight shows. It's going to be, what you'll see on the special when it's really strengthening it up. So these are going to be super hot shows.
My prediction on the
Get some tickets.
New Year's episode was you would do late night for the first time and you would start selling out clubs left and right.
Well,
We've done the late night. I don't know how, maybe you're selling out the clubs.
We'll see.
And I said, Dusty would start selling out theaters left and right. And I think he said he already was.
Yeah.
And I said, your special would be one of the hottest specials of the year.
Boom.
All right.
Well, I hope that's true.
From your lips to God's ears, brother.
Speaking of Tonight Show, though, one time after my first time doing my first time doing the Tonight Show, me and Aaron were doing a show called The Dog House in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He's standing out front. There's a lady out there smoking. I'm inside. She goes, "This guy any good?" He goes, "He just did the Tonight Show." She goes, "That don't mean," and then throws the cigarette out, goes back inside, starts cooking.
That's great.
I've told that story so much. That's unfortunately a story when you have to edit it. It's not quite as good.
Nah,
but
it's not got the. But that don't mean man
Mhm.
throws it on the
It's
ground.
so funny.
Yeah.
I thought about her this past weekend.
Yeah.
She's probably,
But I
still
got to
out
tell
there.
that lady, it does mean something.
Of course.
It does
Of
mean
course.
something.
Nah. And go watch you on the new Hollywood Squares.
Boom, tonight.
Signature Dish, YouTube. 30 minutes. Knock it out. It's good. Thank you all. We love you. It's not lost on us. And, have a pleasant evening.
Bye.
Nateland is produced by Nateland Productions and by me, Nate Bargatze, and my wife Laura on the Audio Boom platform. Recording and editing for the show is done by Genovations Media. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to catch us next week on the Nateland Podcast.